Welcome back. Eastern Cape residents are also in for wet weather. Authorities have issued a severe weather warning. Some parts of the province have already been affected by rains and floods over the last few days. Let's get an update now from our reporter Ronald Masinda. Ronald, how's it looking there in the Eastern Cape so far?
Maseko, good afternoon. Well, the weather looks absolutely amazing at this stage, but things could well change later this afternoon. This as the SA Weather Service has issued a weather warning of severe flooding and localized flooding that is expected here. And this is an area that was ravaged by rain during April, where there were quite a number of issues with relating to flooding. We do understand that in Port St. John's, a 10-year-old lost his life while trying to cross a river during those floods. Thousands of people were left homeless. But for more on what is expected here in the Eastern Cape and in the OR Tambo District Municipality, I am joined by Zimkita Matwana. Thank you so much, Swam, for your time. I mean, it's a very worrying times. What information do you have with regards to the days that lie ahead?
Good afternoon, Ronald. What we have done as the district municipality as part of preparing for the festive season is to ensure that we go all out in our communities so that we create awareness campaigns, we capacitate our members of the community about what they need to do in cases where the inclement weather affects them. What is important is for them to have our contact numbers, which is 047 501 9464. That is the number that they need to dial so that our disaster and risk management teams that are always on standby can go and support the members of the communities. But what is also key is to strengthen our relations with our stakeholders, which is all the sector departments that operate in our space, which is the OR Tambo district, and also specifically the South African Weather Services, which from time to time gives us those warnings that we use when we communicate with the members of the community.
Do you find that when you go out and create these awareness programs, does it reduce the risk of the damages?
Well, because disaster is a natural occurrence, I wouldn't say they reduced the damages. However, we make sure that people are prepared and know what they need to do in cases where there are floods or thunderstorms like we are expecting today. The warning that we received from the South African Weather Services has already been issued to the members of the community. Our councillors are aware so that when there are people that are affected, they are able to connect with us so that we can support them. What we can obviously see from the previous years is that since we started these awareness campaigns, the number of deaths has drastically decreased because now people know what to do. People don't cross flooded rivers. We even encourage motorists not to drive through low water bridges when it's flooded. So because they have the information and know what to do, they partner with us and make sure that their lives and livelihoods are taken care of during those periods.
The SA Weather Service saying that this could be a very wet summer. Doesn't bode well for this region.
Not good news at all for OR Tambo district. Yes, they have confirmed that we are going to have a very hot summer holiday season. And also, even though it's going to be very hot, we are expecting a lot of rains compared to the previous year. That means as the district municipality, especially the disaster and risk management unit, we need to be prepared. We are prepared. We have already procured food parcels, which are currently in our stores. We have mattresses, we have blankets, so that in cases where the members of the community are affected, we are able to support them. The other good news for us is that last week, 2 weeks ago, we were visited by the Minister of Human Settlements, who outlined a clear plan how they are going to assist the district in terms of eradicating the mud structures. Because we've also noticed that when there are heavy rains, these informal housing units or the mud structures are the ones that are always affected. So those partnerships that we have with the sector departments and the national departments are really assisting us.
Zimkita, in as much as we are talking about the issue of the inclement weather that you are expecting, there's also an issue of load shedding which is affecting your water supply. Some of the people in many of these communities say they've been without water for several weeks now. Are there ways of eradicating or improving their lives?
Let's take the opportunity to explain to the members of the community how we are also affected as the district whenever there is load shedding. If, for example, there is load shedding for 3 hours, that means our systems that are pumping water from the Thornhill water treatment works are unable to pump water for the duration of the outage. Then once electricity is restored, it is then that we start pumping. And sometimes when our reservoirs are drained to zero, we need to start pumping until the levels of the reservoirs are sufficient enough for us to be able to open the reservoirs for water to start reticulating to the communities. What we also encourage members of the community to do is to report any pipe bursts, because when there's been no water going through the pipes for a long period, sometimes we do experience a lot of pipe bursts because of the pressures that take place in the piping system when we reopen our water supply. So we encourage them to utilize our customer care center, which is a 24-hour service. I'm also going to give them the number, which is 047-501-9106. That is the number that they need to dial to get in touch with us. They can also use our Facebook page to inbox us and tell us which area are affected, because we've noticed that the number of pipe bursts has really increased since the load shedding has come back.
All right, Zimkita, thank you so much for your time. That was Zimkita Mangwana from the OR Tambo District Municipality, giving us an idea, Maseko, as to how this particular municipality will try and help those who are in need during a time where heavy rains are expected. They are expected perhaps to start later this afternoon, as well as to run later during the weekend.
All right, Ronald Masinda in Mthatha in the Eastern Cape for us. Thank you. Let's leave it there for now.